Hi, it's Nicole, and today I'm going to do a tag video because Doris from Aldi Books was kind enough to tag me in the So Booksically tag, and it was just a really pleasant surprise to be just watching along and then she tagged me. So, yay! Thanks, Doris. My name is Nicole, and I am here to learn. That is what my channel name is all about. In trying to do booktube in the first place, and in why I read at all, and in any other thing that I would possibly be doing, my whole thing always is that I just want to learn. I'm not here to be an expert or anything like that. I just want to find out more about stuff in general and see what I can learn from other people. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm here to learn. So when I open up Instagram, since I'm filming on my phone, I've looked at my Instagram and taken some screenshots. So the first image was a cup with boobs, and I really love it. I like any kind of fun pottery and stuff like that. I'd really like to do another class in pottery actually. I've done a few of them ages ago, and it's just a really fun medium to work in. The second image is a lot of ladies lounging in the summer in an illustration style that I really like, and it's about summer, and I love summer. What else is there to say? And the third one is a French feminist clothing company, and this one says chef, which is the feminine version of the French word for boss, and I really like that. I think it's a top I wouldn't mind having. The first video when I open YouTube is from Hajar Reads. The video is called Books and Chill, 4 novels and 2 essays. She's a French-speaking booktuber from Morocco, and I find her opinions really interesting, and I've found a lot of recommendations watching her channel. So I would recommend her channel if you want to find some recommendations for some cool books. The second video is from Jean of Bookish Thoughts, and it's a recent favourites video, so I'm probably going to watch that later as well, just because favourites are kind of nice. And the last one is from Jen Campbell about her new book, The Girl Aquarium, and I'm really curious to know more about that. I've heard really good things about Jen's writing in general, and her stories always sound like they would be right up my alley, so I'd like to know more about that as well. So I guess I'm going to be watching at least 3 booktube videos later today. I can't actually listen to any songs when I'm reading. I find it really distracting, especially if there's lyrics, because then I just end up singing along, or that's all that ends up in my head. The only things that I've ever really been able to listen to while reading is Ludovico Einaudi and coffee shop sounds on YouTube. I'm not sure I really have a favourite book on my shelves at the moment. I guess I have different favourites for different genres and stuff, so that's kind of hard to choose. And then I have a lot of books that I think are really beautiful as well, so I can't really choose an absolute favourite that's on my shelves. And also, I don't know if this is weird, but I don't even have a lot of my favourite books on my shelves because I've given them away to people as gifts. So I'm just going to go with a book that really delighted me when I read it recently, and that's this one, Amours. It's the little French exercise book that I talked about in my last wrap-up video. I don't think I really use props in any bookish photos, and I don't really take that many bookish photos in general really anyway, but I tend to photograph those when I do them on my wooden desk, so I guess it'll have to be my wooden desk. This is really interesting because for me, the books that I'm most likely to want to reread are often ones that I felt like I didn't fully understand, or I didn't fully get the benefit out of, or that I kind of didn't like. Not that I really disliked, but if I kind of didn't like it, I tend to want to give it another shot. And then other books that just I thought that I would like a lot more than I did, and then they underwhelmed me. I tend to want to give those another shot as well. So some of those, I don't think I can restrict myself to just 3, but some of those books are The Pearl by John Steinbeck, and I've been getting into his writing a lot recently, so I feel like when I initially read it in high school I was probably too young. I think I was 11 when we did that, so I think I was too young to really appreciate it fully, so I'd really like to give that one another shot. The Handmaid's Tale, which I didn't get on with as well as I thought I would. It just didn't feel like my thing, and maybe the writing style wasn't quite for me, and I'm not sure. It just feels like I should have got on with it better than I did, so I think I'd like to give it another shot at some point, just to see if that's really how I feel about it, or if it was just the wrong time for that book for me. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, I remember enjoying it when we did it at the end of high school, and I recently did a test to see how quickly you read and to see what your comprehension is like from what you've read, and I've found, completely unsurprisingly to me, that I am a slightly slower than average reader, but apparently I understand a lot more from the first go around than most readers do, because I guess when you read really quickly, people tend to hold on to less of the detail maybe, and maybe when you read slower like I do, you tend to hold on to more of the detail. I'm not sure. But one of the options for the sample reading test, and the one that I had chosen, was an excerpt from Frankenstein, and I just really loved the writing as I was reading that, and I just got really nostalgic and thought, oh, I really should pick this up again. So I'd like to do a reread of that as well at some point. The Bloody Chamber is another one that I really thought I was going to love, and I really didn't at all. And I feel like maybe again it was just the wrong time for that book for me, so I'd like to give that one another shot, especially since I find that The Bloody Chamber and The Handmaid's Tale are books that a lot of people who I have similar reading tastes to seem to like those books a lot, and I was just kind of okay with them. So it's a bit of a weird one for me, and I feel like it's me that has the problem and not those books, so I would like to give them another go at some point. And then two books that I actually still own, because a lot of the time when I read a book, because I don't tend to reread, I usually donate them or give them away, so it's unusual that I'll hang on to a lot of the books that I've already read that haven't made a huge impression on me. But two of the ones that I do still have and would like to possibly reread at some point are The Vegetarian by Han Kang, because again I thought I would like it a lot more than I did, and it was fine, and there were bits that I really liked and that felt like they packed a punch for me and were really memorable, and those parts made a big impression, but I felt like on the whole the book is not quite what I expected, and not so much in a pleasantly surprising way for me. It was more like, oh, okay, I guess that's what it was. And again, people seem to really like it who have similar tastes to me, so I'd like to try it again and see if it was just me. And the last one that I'm going to name, because I know I'm getting out of control with these rereads that I'd like to do that I probably never will do, is The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus, because it's really tiny, but it felt like a really dense read at the time, and like when there were bits that I was getting on with and understanding fine, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is really interesting, and then there were other bits that I was just like, I have no idea what this man is saying. He's just saying words and I understand each word, but just not when they're all put together like that. So I'd like to go through this one again and really try to get into the meat of what he's actually trying to tell me, because at the moment I only half understand it. Amazing bookish find, these little book clips that hold your page, and it's got a little arrow to point to where you are in the book. So I've got maybe about 12 of them, and they're in loads of my books. This one is just at the top of that one there. So yeah, I really love them. I think they're really classy and they're really neat, and they keep my page really well. Beautiful and functional. And as for my author crush, the first person I can think of is Zadie Smith, because she is gorgeous. I'm going to tag Leah from Hide and Seek, who was one of the first people to kind of welcome me to BookTube. She's an Australian booktuber who covers a lot of different books from her country that, at least for me, have shown me that Australia has a lot more diversity than I certainly thought before. And the second person that I'm going to tag is Lindsay from Lindsay's Book Life. She's really nice as well, and she does a lot of sort of wrap-ups where she covers 3 books at a time. So she'll do a wrap-up after reading 3 books, so then you get a regular little set of reviews from her, and that's really nice to watch. So this was my So Booksically tag. I'm going to put the original video in the description box. I'll put Doris's video in the description box as well as Leah and Lindsay's channels, and any books that I've mentioned will go down there too, with anything else that I can think of that's relevant. That's all for now, and I'll see you again next time. Bye! It's 5 p.m. right now, so outside of my house is really noisy, but we will manage.